U.S. election officials, as we've just heard, have said this year's White House vote was the most secure in American history, rejecting Trump's claims of fraud. What are you and your fellow Republicans saying about this and Trump's tweets?
Well, every day, more and more Republicans are coming out and issuing the words President-elect Joe Biden, acknowledging that he has won 306 electoral votes, the exact same number that Donald Trump won 4 years ago. They just called in the last few hours Arizona and North Carolina that brings the President-elect Biden to 306. Our Homeland Security and Cybersecurity Task Group has come out, as you say, and not only declared that this was the largest election in terms of voting participation that we've ever had in this country, but it was the most secure and safe, and there is no widespread fraud. In fact, the New York Times interviewed all 50 of the state election coordinators, none of them reporting any significant fraud activity, and certainly none that would swing the election back the other way. Now, having said that, Janie, we're still in the middle of recounts. All the counting is now done, and now the recounts begin where it's appropriate. But in the next 2 weeks, all the recounts will be complete, and there are some legal challenges. So far, none of them have stuck. But the president is, he's a fighter. He really will not go down without swinging. So he's swinging, but he's running out of days and opportunities. And more Republicans are stepping in to say it's a matter of time, as I said on your show last week, before everyone sees the picture very clearly. It's a process, and over the next 2 weeks. Now, the things that the National Council on Election Integrity are still looking at that I serve on are we got to make sure that the Electoral College votes on December the 14th match the will of the people in those states. For instance, in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, there was some suspicion that the Trump campaign would like to see the legislature step in and send electoral votes to President Trump in those states instead of Biden. But we hear from the legislators that's not going to happen. The Supreme Court has not allowed it to happen. And so that would be kind of the last effort of the president to try to hold on to power. But we're heading for January the 20th, where we have an inauguration with a new president, and more people are realizing it every day.
Zach, Biden has contacted many of the foreign leaders, including our Prime Minister Scott Morrison and most recently China. How did that go with China? And we're yet to hear anything from Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
Yeah, and I think you never know where the Putin-Trump relationship came from, where the conspiracy theories came from, what their posture is, all those things in due time. Listen, as I said 2 weeks ago on your show, we have such a great relationship with Australia, and the China question is a big question because we've been battling China on trade for a long time, intellectual property, ethics. So it'll be really interesting to see where President Biden, come January the 20th, takes our relationship with China. President Trump, I believe, was endorsed on his policies on Election Day because his party, the Republican Party, won a lot of net seat gains in the House of Representatives. We're going to hold the Senate. I am a Republican. We won all across the country. The only race we didn't win was the president. And a lot of people believe that the coronavirus and President Trump's bombastic personality, which I think sort of wore out the American people over 4 years, cost him the election, but his policies were embraced because his party won up and down the ticket. And I think part of that is trade. I think the president's been strong around the world. Some people took it and were intimidated by it, I think. But for the most part, his foreign policy has been successful. A lot of things happened in the Middle East while he was president that were good. So it's going to be real interesting to see where President Biden comes down on some of these things, because I think he has to recognize the Republican Party, the conservatives in this country were given a tip of the hat on Election Day, even though President Trump came up 5 million votes short.
That's right. We're counting 71 million for Trump and 75 for Biden. Zach, President Trump is going to speak live in just under half an hour's time. Do you have any insight at all into what he will be discussing?
Well, I think he's still going to be fighting and talking about legal challenges and issuing the narrative that this was somehow a rigged election. And that's just simply not true. And everyone that is studying this and being objective in this country knows that. And so it's just a matter of time. There's a big conflict right now where Democrats are saying Republicans are aiding and abetting his conspiracy theories about a rigged election or fraud, when in fact this was a very, very honorable election compared to all the elections we've ever had. And it went really well, and it's been peaceful. But at the same time, I just think he's going down swinging. But he's not going to be the president on January the 20th. And the general public now knows it. You even see some of his own advisors, his faith advisors. They went to the pulpit in the last 7 days and have said, let's begin to pray for President-elect Joe Biden. So they're acknowledging that this election is actually over, but it's not complete until all the recounts are underway and the certification takes place and the Electoral College actually votes on December the 14th. It's not over, but effectively it's over.
Zach, we have time for one quick question. What's going to happen between now and when we get the flu shot in America? We're seeing cases go through the roof.
Yeah. So, we're almost heading in some places, especially the red part of America, because we have a big divide. In the blue states, in the big cities, we have leaders that are wanting to shut down. And I heard your stories in Australia while I was waiting to come on the air. But in the red states, in the conservative part of our country, people still believe that they can go about their own business. And so we have a lot of new contagion in this country. We do have a death rate that's going down because I think we're dealing with it more, but it's almost like herd immunity is setting in. We got a real conflict here because through the winter, this could be a dark winter before we come out the other side. And then I don't think half the American people are going to be willing to take the vaccine soon. So even though healthcare workers will get the vaccine by April and our senior citizens will get them by April, this continues to be a big issue. I believe coronavirus is one of the main reasons why President Trump did not win the election. And I believe he's not really going to do much on it between now and January the 20th. He's almost washed his hands of it. So it's kind of running its course here, but our hospitals are under stress again. And this is not a good day in America in terms of this disease, the contagion. Going to be a cold, dark winter, but hopefully the spring it'll get better.
Yes, so let's hope so. And my correction, I did say flu shot and I did mean the coronavirus vaccine.
Yes.
But you take care. 68 days time until Inauguration Day. Zach Want, politician and former US President Representative for Tennessee. We look forward to seeing you back here soon on Weekend Edition. See you soon.
Thank you, Janie.